Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a review on the Dose of Colours Desi and Katy collection. For those of you who don't know who these people are, that's Desi Perkins. She is a YouTuber. And this is Lustre Katy. She's also a YouTuber. I do love Desi. She's my fave. She's my favourite YouTuber. So I was very happy to hear that they were doing a collaboration with Dose of Colours. Dose of Colours is an amazing brand. I think they've got excellent liquid lipsticks. That's how they first started. I've never tried their normal lipsticks or lip glosses. I've got one of their eyeshadow palettes, the Ice Cream palette, which was for last summer. Still have it, still use it. I'm using it today. And what else have I got from theirs? I've got some of their Supreme Glow highlighters, which they released earlier on in the year, and I was lucky enough to pick up a couple at IMATS in New York when I was there. I've done a review along with swatches, which I will link below for you guys. So this collection had, I think it was 2 eyeshadow palettes. I can't remember exactly, but I picked up 1. And I picked up 2 highlighters and 2 of the liquid lipsticks. I didn't get any of the normal lipsticks or the lip glosses, just purely because I know from my own personal preference, they aren't necessarily shades that I would generally always go for. So first off, this is what the packaging looks like. Nice and sleek, kind of a rosy gold, sort of bronzy colour. But the most amazing part of their packaging is definitely the actual palettes themselves. It's like got a textured material finish of this sparkly gold. This is the eyeshadow palette My Girls, I think it's called. And this is what the shades inside look like. They are all shimmery shades. None of these are crease shades or anything else other than shimmery metallic in your face pigment. Sorry, I was just looking it up. It's the eyeshadow palette is called The Girls because it is the girls. They are best friends after all. So the eyeshadow palette I have used. I finally got a chance to use it today, and I have to say I'm kind of on the fence with this. Now, I ordered mine through MyMallBox, which is a forwarding shipping company, which I use often to ship myself makeup from the UK at a more affordable and cheaper rate, as well as a way of avoiding customs charges. And they gave this card in here as well, which is an eyeshadow guide of how to use. Now, as soon as a brand sticks that into their packaging, I'm a little bit dubious as to why you need instructions on how to use an eyeshadow palette. Lo and behold, I didn't actually see this until after I'd used it, when I had such issues applying the eyeshadows to my lid, in particular these 2 at the bottom, which is called, now I do apologize, a lot of these names or some of these names are Latino Hispanic names, so I can't necessarily pronounce them in the correct way. I do apologize. This one here is called Turbosan, and this one is Noli. I think Noli is the name of her dog, Desi's dog, I think, from what I remember. Now what they say is that for maximum payoff you have to use them wet, which I did not realise because I was using a brush and I kept putting it on again and again and again, and it was so sheer and the amount of fallout was intense. Even now my face is covered in bits of glitter, which you can't necessarily see because I'm not up close to the camera. And they all say that for maximum texture colour payoff, apply with a damp finger. They all say apply with the finger, apply with the finger. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm not too happy about having to apply an eyeshadow with your finger. Firstly, there's the hygiene aspect of things, especially if you are a makeup artist. You want to have to keep sanitizing your product. You will lose product when that happens as well. And then having to apply it with your finger, kind of, if you've got slightly, like I've got big bones. I'm a big boned girl. I always have been. That doesn't mean I'm fat. It just means that my bones are very large. So I've got large hands, large fingers. Applying it to my lid, especially if you've got small lids, is going to be an issue. You're going to get it all over the place. So the best thing I would say is to apply it with your brush. But I found out the hard way, the best way to apply it is by wetting your brush first, then digging it into the actual shadow itself, then applying it to the lid. That way you will get maximum coverage. But the fallout is still there, and it's a lot, because these 2 bottom shades especially are very gritty. Even to look at them, let me show you again up close. And if you look at the difference between the top 2 and the bottom 2 are very gritty looking and the top 2 are very soft and creamy looking. You can see the difference in texture up close. So they are very thick and difficult to apply, I would say, even wet. Because after I realised that, I did go in wet and I was still like, okay, but there's still fallout. It's still not as intense as I would like it to be. Personally, I would think that they may be a little bit better used as toppers to eyeshadows. The top two, on the other hand, even though they say for maximum texture, apply them wet, I didn't actually find that I had to. I mean, it says the top one, this one, Suze, it says apply wet. Noli, which is actually, sorry, this one over here, not the one I said below, Noli, it doesn't say to apply it with wet. So it just says glides onto the lids for a silky smooth finish. I agree. I would say the top two are definitely the best performing ones. They're very creamy, they're very intense, they're very full on, they're very easy to blend, and I really like those two. I don't like the bottom two, which is Harpoon, which is the greenish one, and then Tabosan, the more purpley one. So I'm going to show you swatches, and they are going to be finger swatches, just so that you can see what they look like when they are applied dry. Now here they all are up close. Even if you look at the first one, the top one, Suze, it's still very gritty. It's not as soft looking as the one next to it, which is called Noli. I think Noli is definitely probably the best one in the entire palette. The other two, even though I have applied them with my finger, you can still see that they are quite thick. But then I suppose that they are comparable to Huda Beauty's her eyeshadow palette, the first one, with the foiled kind of shades, which are best applied with the finger. So in that respect, with a finger, it will definitely work a lot better than if you used it with a brush. It just matters whether or not you have the patience to do that. I personally don't always have the patience. If I'm in a hurry in the morning and I need to get ready for work or wherever I'm going, I don't always have time to faff around with my fingers, as well as brushes, as well as wetting a brush and everything else. I just want to be able to use it and go. So I think this is definitely going to be one of those eyeshadow palettes which is down to personal preference, whether you are willing to put in the effort that it takes to get the best out of this eyeshadow palette. It's not a rubbish palette, but I would definitely not say it's a must-have. For me, I won't say it is a must-have, but for you guys, you may think completely differently. So the two highlighters that I got are in exactly the same kind of textured shimmery packaging, which is amazing. They are exactly the same quality and texture as their permanent range of Supreme Glow highlighters, meaning that they are very intense, they are super buttery and creamy. You only need to go in once to get full application. They are very similar in terms of texture and quality to the Makeup Geek highlighters, which are my favourite. When you look at them up close, they aren't shimmery and metallic and glittery, which is why even when you see them on screen, they look quite flat. But that's because you need to apply them to the face. You need to apply them to the face in order to get maximum build up. They accentuate textured skin slightly, but not as much as other brands which have got a lot more glitter, like Anastasia Beverly Hills. So this shade here is called Fuego, and it is a light champagne gold, and it looks like this. And this one I would definitely say works with all skin tones. It looked beautiful when I wore it. I wore it yesterday, I wore it out, and it looked amazing. It looked glowy and gorgeous, and I looked sun-kissed and beautiful, if I do say so myself. So the next one that I'm going to show you is called Mirame. Again, apologies if I pronounced that wrong. That's actually the one that I'm wearing right now on my cheekbones, and I'm going to show you guys as I was applying it earlier on today, just so that you can see it's a beautiful, beautiful colour. Another one that will definitely go well with all skin tones, but I would say that Fuego would probably go more better with fairer skin tones, and Mirame would definitely work a lot better on deeper skin tones. It's more of a kind of a rosy gold sort of shade, but it's definitely more gold in it than there is rose. But it's another one of those ones which would go with fair, medium and dark. But if you are kind of umming and ahhing about the two which ones to go for, if you're fairer skin, go with Fuego, and Mirame if you're more darker skin. Now there were two matte liquid lipsticks that came out with this range. I bought both of them, and let me just quickly show you the packaging. It's basically just a kind of a nudie, opaque tube. A little bit different to normal Dose of Colours packaging, because you can normally see through, so you can see what colour it is. With these ones you can't, so you have to make sure you read on the back like I did, because once or twice I picked up the wrong one. So the first one I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you as I'm applying it because I'm wearing it right now, is the shade called Savage. See, to me it says Savage, but clearly there must be a reason why there is a hyphen above the A. So somebody below, tell me how to say it, just because I like to learn. I like to educate myself. I don't like to remain ignorant and guess, because I think that's slightly disrespectful. So the first one I'm showing you is this one. It's a deep wine shade. It's full coverage. It's completely opaque. It applies easily and beautifully. It glides along the lips as a beautiful deep shade. This is one that would work well with fair, medium and dark skin tones. This is an amazing fall color, especially as that we are coming into the fall period. Even though if you live in London, it's baking hot and nearly 30 degrees, and if you are surrounded by studio lights, you're probably melting like I am. But I actually really like this shade. I find that it's worn very well on me as well. I've had it on for quite a few hours. It's like a blackened burgundy sort of shade as well. And personally, I quite like Dose of Colours liquid lipsticks. They're very opaque. They're a little bit sticky. They're not too thick. They're not too runny. They've almost got like a very jelly type texture when you first apply it, and then it dries down to a lovely matte finish. And this is how the end result is. So as I already have this one on my lips now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this one, and then I'm going to show you the next one, which is called Hot Fire. As with all liquid lipsticks, the best way to remove them is with something oil based. I just tend to use a Vaseline just to remove it for the purposes of the video before I show you what it looks like as you apply this one as well. This is Hot Fire, perfect name for the perfect kind of bright, hot orange and red lipstick. It's definitely a very strong, fiery, orangey red. It's very opaque. This to me is everything that I think is Huda Beauty's Mamacita, that orangey red one. This one is everything that one isn't. This one is fully opaque. You get slight patchiness, but you're able to kind of move it around to stop that from happening, and it dries down beautifully, making sure that there is no obvious gaps or patchiness or anything like that, because it is got a very strong pigment to it. This is another shade that I would definitely say would work well with fair, medium and dark skin tones. Depending on what your natural lip color is, will depend on how the color shows up on you. If you are very dark skin, it will show up more orange, and if you are more fairer skin and you've got more pink in your lips, it will show up a lot more red. So that is just down to a personal preference sort of thing, and obviously if you're my skin tone, it will show up like a mix of the two. So that's it for my review, along with swatches and lip swatches of the Dose of Colours Desi and Katy collection. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are. Have you bought any of this collection? Are you going to? I know a lot of it is sold out, and it will restock as well soon. It is limited edition as well. So let me know what your thoughts are, or if you're going to get any of the normal lipsticks and lip glosses, and we can talk about it. So I hope you guys are wonderful and great, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.